Okay, so we've got this incredible stack of material today,
Yeah.
all focused on a musician who honestly feels like one of the most exciting voices in contemporary jazz right now.
Absolutely. And diving into these sources, it becomes really clear why Melissa Aldana stands out. She's way more than just, a technically brilliant saxophonist.
Right.
The material really points to her as, well, truly innovative and deeply accomplished.
Yeah, what just jumps off the page immediately is this unique blend she's forged. A fusion of her Latin American musical roots with some seriously deep jazz improvisation.
Exactly. The sources really hammer that home as like a core part of what makes her singular.
Hmm.
And our mission today, really drawing from everything here, is to pull out those crucial insights, the sort of aha moments, so you get a quick, solid understanding of her journey, her sound, and her impact.
We'll be digging into, her early life in Santiago, that pivotal moment she broke onto the international scene,
Big moment.
how she's carved out her unique musical voice, which is documented across these acclaimed albums like Tales from the Hudson, Second Cycle, and Vistas.
And we'll touch on her collaborations too, right? Her presence at legendary spots like the Village Vanguard.
Yeah.
And weave in some of the insights the sources offer about like critical reception, the respect from peers, and even a little personal anecdotes about her fearlessness and wit.
Okay, so where does it all kick off? The material we have traces her story right back to Santiago, Chile, born in 1988.
And what's striking early on is this deep connection to music, nurtured right there at home.
Yeah.
The sources really highlight the influence of her father and also local musicians like Jorge Rojas and Claudio Fersen.
And get this, she didn't even start on sax.
Right. Classical piano first, age 5.
Wild. The switch came at age 8, apparently a really pivotal moment after she heard her grandfather playing the saxophone. That clearly lit a fire.
Seems like it set her path, yeah. From there, the sources show her developing fast, playing locally, entering competitions.
Which leads to what is arguably the major turning point these sources emphasize, winning the Thelonious Monk International Jazz Saxophone Competition in 2005.
And the kicker, she was only 16.
16.
Winning the Monk competition at that age, well, it's not just winning a contest. The sources indicate it immediately marked her as, a prodigy. It's a huge platform. It kind of bypasses the usual longer path for artists.
Totally.
Yep.
Put a massive spotlight on her potential. And the material clearly lays out the next step that came from that win, scholarship to Berklee College of Music.
And that's where she really launched into the contemporary jazz scene professionally. The material points to her signing with Concord Records in 2013.
Which led straight to her debut album, Tales from the Hudson.
And the sources note that album wasn't just released. It got widespread critical acclaim, like right out of the gate.
That's a powerful statement for a debut, isn't it?
No kidding. And you see her quickly gaining respect from established figures, too. The sources mention her collaborating with Chris Potter.
Wow, Chris Potter.
On his 2016 album, The Dreamer is the Dream. And they even performed together at the Montreal Jazz Festival. That's a significant nod from, well, a giant in the field.
Yeah, that must have opened some doors. The sources also bring up the Melissa Aldana Quartet, which she founded. Seems pretty central to her vision.
Yes, the material identifies key members. Her brother, Francisco Aldana, on drums, Pablo Menares on bass, and Fabian Almazan on piano.
Okay.
And this ensemble is presented as, like, an enduring unit, foundational to her sound.
Her trajectory just keeps going up, right?
Yeah.
The sources detail her signing with Mac Avenue Records in 2018, and then more critical acclaim for the next album, Second Cycle.
And the proof of her rising visibility isn't just in the record deals either. The sources highlight her extensive touring, playing these really prestigious venues.
Like the Village Vanguard, the Kennedy Center.
Carnegie Hall, too.
Wow.
Playing those rooms, that's a milestone. It signals you've really arrived.
Okay, so we've traced her path, becoming this recognized artist. But how does she actually sound? What do these sources tell us about the unique craft behind it all?
Right, this is where the material really digs in. We look at those key albums again, Tales from the Hudson, that's 2013,
Yep.
Second Cycle in 2016, and Vistas in 2019.
The sources describe Tales from the Hudson as like a really powerful, confident arrival.
Yeah, and Second Cycle is seen as the one where she truly started expanding and deepening those fusion elements.
Okay.
And then Vistas from 2019 is characterized as maybe her most expansive and genre-blending work yet. You can hear diverse influences really coming together.
And the sheer output is just, well, it's staggering, as the sources lay out.
Tell me about it. Composing 45 pieces, leading 6 albums in just 8 years.
8 years.
Plus playing on over 80 sessions as a sideman. That kind of volume, it speaks to incredible dedication and just pure creative energy.
Wow, that is prolific. But the sources really zero in on her approach to improvisation as her signature thing.
Precisely. It's how she seamlessly weaves those Latin American rhythms and harmonies into the jazz framework.
Right.
The material presents this not just as an influence, but as a fully integrated part of her sound,
And what's fascinating is how she developed this. The sources tell us she did it by, like, deeply studying and transcribing solos.
For legends, yeah. Wayne Shorter, Steve Coleman.
So it shows her approach is rooted firmly in the jazz tradition, right? Even while she's pushing the boundaries.
Exactly. But it's not just about complex fusion. The sources also highlight her versatility.
Ah.
Despite her success in contemporary jazz, she's noted for being really adept at ballads. They specifically point to her solo on Autumn Leaves from Tales from the Hudson.
Oh, nice example.
Yeah, as a prime example of her emotional depth and command in, like, a totally different context.
That's a great insight into her breadth.
Mm-hmm.
The sources also mention her ongoing collaborations with other significant contemporary artists.
People like Gerald Clayton, described in the material as a longtime friend who shares her dedication to pushing jazz boundaries.
Makes sense.
And Lionel Louique, another artist known for integrating African rhythms. Kristen Scott gets mentioned too.
Collaborating with musicians who are also exploring global sounds, that really cements her place, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Within this community of, like, forward-thinking artists.
Definitely. And the sources even offer some lovely glimpses into her creative process itself.
Like what?
Well, like her deep love for classical music, which apparently informs her compositional sensibilities.
Ah, you can sort of hear that sometimes, can't you?
Yeah.
That structured lyrical thing alongside the improv.
Yeah, exactly. And something I found particularly resonant in the sources is her belief in the power of storytelling through music.
Oh, yeah?
The idea that each composition has its own narrative arc, that adds such a rich layer when you're listening, I think.
Totally. So if we connect this to the bigger picture in the sources, what does it all mean for her influence, her legacy?
Well, the material is pretty clear on this. By so successfully blending traditional Latin American music with jazz improvisation, she's elevated the saxophone as a versatile instrument.
Opened up new avenues for expression. That feels like a key part of her lasting contribution, right?
Absolutely. And the recognition she's received, it just underscores this impact. The sources list multiple awards, consistently winning Downbeat's Rising Star Award from 2013 to 2018.
That's quite a run. And being named Downbeat's Best Female Saxophonist from 2014 to 2016, that's significant peer and critical validation over several years.
For sure. And of course, the Grammy nominations mentioned in the sources, nominated twice, including for Vistas in 2020.
Yeah.
Those nominations place her firmly within the broader music world, not just the jazz sphere.
And the material emphasizes she's not just succeeding herself, she's actively inspiring a new generation of saxophonists.
Right. Her unique approach and just dedication to musical excellence are cited as prime motivators for younger players.
And finally, something really important the sources highlight is her stated commitment, using her platform to amplify the voices of women and underrepresented musicians in jazz.
That adds a vital dimension, doesn't it? Beyond just her playing, it speaks to her role in maybe shaping the future of the genre itself.
Okay, so, wow. We've gone deep into this source material. Covered her journey from Chile, her command of the sax, her truly unique fusion of styles.
Her impressive body of work, across albums and collaborations, and the significant influence and legacy she is already building in the jazz world today.
Hopefully this deep dive has given you, listening, a clear, insightful picture of Melissa Aldana and why she matters so much in the contemporary music landscape.
And, this raises an important question for you to maybe mull over, something drawn right from the heart of the source material we looked at. What does it truly mean to fuse disparate traditions in music? And how does an artist navigate that really delicate balance between honoring their roots and, forging a completely unique path forward, one that pushes the art form itself?
Melissa Aldana, as presented in these sources anyway, is just a powerful example of an artist wrestling with and, you could say, mastering that fascinating challenge.
Yeah, definitely. We'd absolutely encourage you to explore her music based on what we've discussed. Maybe start with one of those key albums we mentioned.
Tales from the Hudson.
Yeah, or Second Cycle, or Vistas, just to hear that unique fusion and the storytelling kind of come to life for yourself.